YoungHuntr is a youth hunting social media network. Our goal is to get the youth engaged in hunting and get them outdoors. I've been talking with a lot of people. They've been recommending that we start a podcast, which I'd love to do, just to hear their experience, not their parents' experience and all that.
It doesn't cost you, it literally doesn't cost you anything. You can go to Walmart right now, pick up a $90 point-and-shoot camera, go hit the hills with your buddies, and make a sweet video.
That thing is perfect, and it's a great gun for a young kid to start out with. It's small, it gets the job done.
I swear, I don't even have a Netflix account, Hulu account. Dude, I don't watch cable anymore. YouTube is everything nowadays.
I want to help out others. I know that I was raised being very fortunate, but I want to help people who want to get into it who don't have the money for it. This is Jackson Hartley.
My name's Hunter Dahl.
And this is Living Country in the City.
Y'all ready for your dose of flyover state spirit? Straight from the concrete jungle? Well, put down your latte and pull on your boots. It's time for Living Country in the City.
Hey y'all, welcome to episode 113 of Living Country in the City. Before we get started, as always, a huge thank you to Sawyer Products for their continual support of the podcast. Y'all, as you're getting into the outdoors, whether it's hunting, fishing, scouting, or even just spending time outside with your family, we are all very aware of not just the annoyance, but the dangers that mosquitoes and ticks can carry. Sawyer's entire line of insect repellents have been tested and are effective against the mosquitoes, which carry Zika virus, yellow fever, and dengue fever, as well as ticks that can carry Lyme disease and that really nasty red meat allergy, which is pretty much a nightmare to anyone that hunts. And y'all, they are scent-free, safe for your gear. Make sure y'all head on over to sawyer.com/gearsafe. Learn all about Sawyer's line of insect repellents and how you can use them to protect against mosquitoes and ticks in the outdoors. Also, y'all, do not think I've given up on it. I have just been crazy busy lately, but the Wild Initiative is coming within the next couple of weeks. And I'm excited to announce that with the rebrand of Wild Initiative, I'm going to be bringing you some exciting new content. Y'all, I am working with some other contributors, some other podcasters to bring you some fresh new content each week. Don't worry, you'll still get your weekly releases from me, asking my questions, coming at it from the view of someone new to hunting, someone that was not raised in it. I still want to spread that message and really lower that bar of getting into hunting. But also, I want to bring in some awesome, fresh new perspectives throughout the week. So don't be surprised when you start hearing some new voices, seeing some new pictures in your feed throughout the upcoming weeks after Wild Initiative launches. Also, y'all, if you have not reached out and you are looking to start a website, a podcast, or just upgrade your web presence in general, head on over to livingcountryinthecity.com/website-design, or just reach out and let's get you a website consultation. Y'all, a good website can make or break your brand. So check out the selection of everything I've done, fill out that quote request form on the website, and let's see if we can't get you upgraded to an awesome new website that will really showcase the content that you have to offer. All right, y'all, getting on to today's episode. While I was at Hunt Expo, I got introduced to a couple of really great young men, Jackson Hartley and Hunter Dahl of YoungHuntr. Y'all, these two guys have a real passion for hunting and a real passion for getting other youth into the outdoors who may be struggling, who may not have access. We have a really great conversation about some of the struggles that youth may be facing as far as getting into the outdoors. We tell a few hunting stories, and I just really have a great time getting to know these two guys. So y'all, I hope you enjoy episode 113 with Jackson Hartley and Hunter Dahl of YoungHuntr.
So here we are. Hunt Expo, final day. Everyone looks exhausted, exasperated,
For sure.
and ready to just go home. But this is awesome for me because I get to sit down and talk with cool people. And we were not really initially planning on doing this morning.
No.
But I was over harassing the guys over at Crispy and was introduced to you guys, half an hour ago,
Something like that.
An hour ago, yeah.
So I'm here with Jackson Hartley and Hunter Dahl of YoungHuntr. So tell me a little bit about yourselves, maybe just the elevator pitch of how did you get into hunting? What got you your start in the outdoors?
All right, so my start was I was about 11, and my brother had asked my dad, he's like, hey, how come we don't hunt? And my dad's like, we hunt. And my brother's like, well, we haven't ever gone. And so my dad took us out hunting, and after that first shot that my dad took, and when he dropped his mule deer, I was just hooked from there. I started hunting that next year. I finished hunter safety that January and applied for the hunt, drew out for here in Utah, and hunted mule deer that first year. And since then, I've just been hooked, and I haven't stopped.
That's awesome.
I mean, for me, I was 3 years old probably when I first got introduced to it. My dad used to put me on his shoulders, walk around the hills. One thing I do remember when I was a little kid, though, general season deer hunt in Utah, cold weather, snowy outside, orange hat on his shoulders, walking through the trees, my hat just disappears, right? So it's just like, it's almost like the allure to the outdoors. Like, there's so many things that you can, it just expands your world, right? And I was 3 years old, didn't understand anything. So, just moving up, now I'm 17, everything from that point on slowly grows into it. I think I was 8 years old when my dad first, shot a deer when I was with him. That was a great experience. Shot a 2-point when an AR-15 actually put 20 shots right in his chest cavity, and it was it was crazy. I remember my dad almost passing out hiking up a hill, dude. I was 8, so I couldn't do anything. I carried his pack and his gun, and he pulled this huge 2-point out of this big old canyon. And I swear I was just hooked from there. So, from 3 years old, I was on the shoulders of my dad just bumming around the hills, and now we're here. So,
awesome. So we are here in the YoungHuntr booth. What is YoungHuntr?
So YoungHuntr is a youth hunting social media network. Our goal is to get the youth engaged in hunting and get them outdoors. My older brother and I started it. He's going to be here. He's in Texas right now. And but he'll be here back in August. And we'll definitely get into the hunting season for sure. I can't wait to start hunting with him again. But so we started YoungHuntr because of the amount of hate that we had received. We had originally started out as a social media platform for youth to post their pictures, videos, and stories online, but that kind of was too much like a hassle to keep maintaining and all that. And so I've mainly just been running it off of Instagram and all that. I engage with the youth. They have questions, I answer them. I try to help them. I just want to inspire them, get them outdoors, and just to get them off the couches and everything. And I definitely had some low points in the company where I just haven't done anything, but then there will be times where just the ideas will be going through my head. I just got to just crank it out, and I won't do anything unless I get it done. And it really, we just want to inspire the youth and get them outdoors. We want to help them out any way possible. So right now on Instagram, youth will send me their pictures. I'll repost them, give them the publicity that they deserve and that they need to help them continue to go. They're the next generation. I want to make sure that they know that we care about them and that we want to help them succeed.
Yeah, youth is really the next generation. You have all these big guys out here with the companies that are going successful right now, but when they get old enough and they're not going to be able to run those companies, who's going to run the companies, right? You can't just pull a guy off the streets and say, hey, man, you have to know everything about this pack. You got to know everything about this, product. You got to have kids that start young. You got to grow them up in it. You got to grow them, make sure they love it, and be passionate about it like all these guys. These guys didn't start these companies off of being just, all right, I want to start a company, I want to make money. They were passionate about their product, and that's why they're being successful today. So, the youth is really the next generation. So,
no, that's super important. We talk all the time. You hear it all over the place. Oh, we're losing hunters every year. We need to bring more people into hunting, and yeah, there's that contingent of people that it's just, like you said, you're being carried around on your shoulders all the time, but there's a lot of people, and that's my passion is finding people that may not be part of the traditional hunting community all the time, and that's one aspect of it. Those are people that don't feel like they have a community they can reach out to, and they may be getting more hate or whatever that is. But then also, we have a lot of people that may not have the experience dealing with a lot of that hate. Maybe they were raised in a hunting family, but they've had a very close-knit community this whole time, and now suddenly they're on Instagram or they're on Facebook, and they're trying to post some stuff up, and they haven't had that experience dealing with someone that may be coming after them. And
and when you're at the Hunt Expo, it's like, wow, you have all these people that are into hunting and stuff, but this is nothing compared to like the population of the world, right? We got a lot of people that are coming in out of state, and that's a lot of people, but a lot of them are from Utah and the surrounding states, right? So you have so much stuff that it comes all in the Hunting Expo. You have all the expos down in Vegas, all over Portland, and that's where you really can see all right, the hunting community is still big enough that we still have we still have capabilities of getting the youth involved, and I mean that's honestly what we're here for. So.
Yeah, I mean it's an important tool for recruitment. So right now it's an Instagram profile.
Instagram profile. Our Instagram is YoungHuntrs without an E.
Okay, so HNTRS.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, and are there any plans to expand that further? What's what's on the roadmap for Young Hunters?
So currently, I have a lot of footage. I want to start up our YouTube channel a lot more, and I've been talking with a lot of people. They've been recommending that we start a podcast, which I'd love to do, just to talk with the kids, which nobody does a podcast with the kids when it comes to hunting. I'd love to do a podcast with the kids and hear their experience, not their parents' experience and all that. I want to hear their experience. I want them to tell other people. I want adults to be inspired from these kids, seeing, wow, this is crazy. They're on a podcast sharing their hunting experience, and we get to hear their side instead of just watching and telling our side. And but YouTube-wise, I got a lot of footage. I just got to find a time to sit down, edit it all, and find time to release it.
In all your spare time, right?
Yeah, find time to release it. So hopefully this summer I'll be releasing a lot. But my passion right now is film, and I definitely would love to grow the YouTube channel. Later this year, I'm planning on offering to come film hunts for youth. I'd love to go do that just because when I'm older, I want to be able to share with my kids, this is what I did when I was younger. This is how I hunted. This is what my hunts were like when I was a kid. I want to be able to share that with my kids, and I know that other adults, parents even, they would love for their kid when they're older, hey, this is what we did when you were younger. I don't know if you'll remember this, but this is how this hunt went. This is what we did. This is what you killed. This is how it all went down. And I'd love to just be able to help them out with that. And
that's really cool, too, because, I mean, you guys are probably on a bit more of a budget than maybe somebody that's been making a full-time salary for a few years.
Yeah, for sure.
And so guys your age may not have the resources to go out. Yeah, we've all got iPhones, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But to really put together a cool video of a hunt.
Video that's like a full production, it really is expensive because you got to take into the cost. The camera, I mean, the iPhone or whatever phone you got,
Photo editing software.
It is such an amazing camera on it that you could make a full production film on an iPhone or any Samsung or anything. You could really just do that. But to make it like all the big names, everything, all their films, all that, you got to take in the price for the camera, for lighting, audio, for the editing software, for the transitions, for the LUTs, the coloring, everything. It all ends up being a huge price, which can add up, and it really does cost a lot. But really, you get a free app on your phone, and you can make a good video. There's a lot of people. For instance, Antler Trader. Most of his vlogs, most of his videos, and he's huge. Everyone loves Antler Trader.
I don't know about everyone loves Antler Trader.
Not everybody,
that
but
Josh
there's a lot.
Corbin guy is kind of sketchy.
Knowing him personally and knowing his family personally, I love the guy to death and all that.
I've had him on the podcast before. He's a good buddy.
I'm not surprised that you have. Everyone wants to talk with him, and he's really just such a nice guy. But all of his videos, he films on his phone. He edits on his phone.
You got to start somewhere, right? You can't just go. You can't just be like, all right, well, I think I want to film hunts, right? I mean, most people can't just be like, okay, I want to film hunts, go out and buy a $4,000 DSLR the next day.
You're not walking out with a red camera on your first.
You're not going to go buy the huge tripods.
As much as you wish. The thing is, with the red, they shoot so good, but they're a pain to pack.
Yeah.
I was going to say, and that's the other thing is, like, you don't necessarily have the experience or the crew that's going to pack in all this camera gear.
Right.
But so it's cool having, that's an awesome service. Interesting enough, have you guys heard of the Go Wild app?
I haven't personally, no.
It's an app. It's there's been a few that have come around, but it's to, I guess, pigeonhole it a little bit. It's a social media app. It's a community app. There's a lot more to it, but it's similar kind of idea where it's a place where you can go be supported.
Yeah.
I actually want to introduce you guys to Brad Luttrell. I think you guys would have an awesome time talking with him.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I could see some awesome opportunities for a partnership between what you're doing and what you want to support with them. But I want to make sure I hook the two of you guys up. So this is kind of a reminder for myself as well.
Of course.
But and I know he's really passionate about bringing new people into hunting and stuff as well.
And for my brother and I, when we started it out, we mainly started just because we had received death threats and all that, and we didn't want the kids to get that. But after we had started it, the kids just kind of, it's like they just didn't end up posting online. They either their parents would post it or they just post it and just wouldn't care.
Right.
And I mean, that kind of turned our standpoint to we're just going to be social media based, but we're going to help them. We just want to help them in any way possible. And I mean, my brother, when he started, he was 16, and I'm only 16 right now, but we kind of we don't have the social media degree. We're not the best at social media, and most of these big companies that have like that, they went to college, they went to school to learn about social media, learn how to engage with people. I don't know if he did or not, but still, the fact that he's able to successfully grow it, he knows more about it than.
I mean, and it doesn't cost you anything to start an Instagram account. You can go as long as you have a device. You can have a computer, you can have a phone, a tablet, anything like that. It doesn't cost you anything to start an Instagram. If you're already out there in the woods fishing, hunting, picking up sheds, I mean, glassing, anything
just
like
post.
that. Yeah,
post pictures,
it's just
videos,
it's about being consistent. Everyone wants consistency. If you're posting maybe one picture a week, I mean, if it's on the same day, but if you're like once every couple months or like a couple here and there, if you're like consistent with it, that's how people you get to notice them. I mean, the people that are consistent, you pull up on the like search bar on Instagram, those are the pictures that you see are the people that are consistent because the followers are liking their content. I mean, it doesn't cost you, it literally doesn't cost you anything. You can go to Walmart right now, pick up a $90 point and shoot camera, go hit the hills with your buddies and make a sweet video. I mean, it's just
take some sweet pictures.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these really cheap pictures really cheap cameras that can take some super good pictures.
Yeah, it's all in like it's all the creativity. Like my iPhone 7 Plus, that thing is amazing. It takes amazing portrait photos, anything, panoramas. I mean, you name it. That thing just like this thing is a little handheld magical device.
And you have it on you always.
Yeah, it's always on you. Battery life's great on it. Everything like that. I mean, you can virtually get started with nothing. You can always like. Say your grandpa has an old camera that he hasn't used forever. I mean, like with my grandpa, my aunt actually gave me a point-and-shoot camera that I used for a long time to make videos. And I mean, it did not cost me anything. It just was like, hey, can I use this camera? Right? Like so. I mean, there's many ways that you can like loopholes that you can find without spending any money. Because I know that's a lot of thing with the youth is, I mean, money's tight with youth and stuff like that.
Money doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah. I mean, getting a little bit older, I'll be 18 within the next few months. And that definitely opens opportunities. I'll be graduated, full-time job. I mean, that opens more opportunities. But for people that are like 12 and all those
and
ages,
just getting into the social media world, consistency is key. And that's one thing that I didn't realize until I realized the numbers on YoungHuntrs was going down. I was like, oh shoot, I got to start being consistent.
Yep.
And as soon as I started being consistent, I started pushing forward. We were talking last night. It's a hustle. You just got to keep going. Don't stop.
It's a grind, man.
It really is.
People ask about that all the time, you know, and it's kind of funny. I joke about that with some people. It's just, you know, they think it's just like, oh, just kind of posting occasionally on Instagram. It's not that hard. I mean,
it really
turns into
awesome.
work. You don't get to enjoy social media as much as you used to.
You got to grind it out, man. You got to be self-reliant.
There's a ton of people who just post to post, but then there's other people who are trying to grow or trying to make a living off it. Oh man, I'd love to make a living off of posting online, but it doesn't always come like that. You got to work towards that, and then eventually you can get there, but you'll still have to keep doing other stuff to earn all that.
So we talked a little bit about maybe the hate people receive on social media and cost of gear. If you're talking filming, what are some of the struggles you see facing a younger hunter, someone, you know, a youth hunter coming up through the ranks these days, trying to become a successful hunter?
I think one of the struggles that they face it would mainly be getting started. One of the hardest things because it depends. It really depends because there's some families who just don't hunt, but the kid really wants to get into it and they don't have anyone to take him out. So the hardest thing is trying to find people who will take you. Yep. The second hardest thing would be getting geared. Getting the equipment and everything to go out. Like we said earlier, everything costs a price to do all that. But really finding someone who will teach you the ways and to take you out, I think that's the hardest part, which once I start up our YouTube, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to give out tips for the youth to be able to start, to be able to get out, to keep going, everything. So I think that's the hardest struggle is getting started.
Yeah, I mean, and you can go to Walmart and buy a $50 full camo kit, just local places like that. I mean, Walmart, I mean, it's so underrated. You could go in there, walk out with a bow, you could walk out with camo for probably all under $500, go hit the hills, and you could slay. I mean, you could get it done. I mean, I'm for sure grateful for my grandpa and my grandparents. My dad, I mean, a lot of people don't have that. I mean, they could just have a mom, single mom, you know, and that's hard for a lot of people. But it's just about, like Jackson said, finding those like loopholes with getting out in the mountains. I know before I turned 16, before I was able to drive, it was hard to get out in the hills. Like,
for sure.
I was texting everyone, being like, hey, could you run me up here? Finding someone else to go with. Now that I'm 16, I mean, it just opens opportunities. Like
opportunities definitely do come with age. Being able to drive, that opened up so much.
I can only imagine. That's gotta be tough.
It was
before
ridiculous.
I'd just hunt. I just try to hunt the foothills and everything, just
right
everything
next
close
to
to
our
my
house.
house, just everything outside of city limits. But then now that I can drive, I can go and find all these places where all the big animals are. But you don't just find them; they don't just show up like that. You got to put in the work to find it. So this year, I actually didn't end up tagging out, but I hunted 28 out of the 30-day season that Utah has. I don't know how long it is, but I hunted at least 28 days, and I had multiple missed opportunities where I would get close and my stock would be blown by a doe, or I would just make one wrong move. Matter of fact, Hunter and I went up. We found a great buck. He was easily a 190-inch buck. He was heavy, everything, and we had him at 90 yards. And just from the time we saw him, he just kept moving up. And we actually scaled a cliff with all our packs, everything, just trying to climb up just to get up to him.
That was scary, man.
We definitely put the work in, and by the end of the day, we were just dead. We were so exhausted. We tracked it. We put in at least 20 miles of just different steps and everything. But the total distance we went, there's no way we put that much. But it's just trying to get up to where he was at. Because, I mean, deer and all that, I don't know how they do it, but they can scale everything. It doesn't matter what it is. They'll just climb up.
Yeah.
I've hunted deer up in high cliffs. It'll take me 6-something hours to get up. It's a pain, but if it actually happens, it works out. But every time that I put in multiple hours on a stalk, either it goes to the last second and it just is a blown stalk, either by mistake by me or I just rush it. But really, you just got to put in the work for it, and it just doesn't come easy. You just really got to work for it.
I was lucky enough to tag out last year on my just general season archery mule deer tag. It's a youth tag just because I still had my last year left.
I was going to say, you lucky sons of guns. I will say my nephew hunts, and he just turned 18, and I was talking to him, and he's like,
it sucks.
No, my tags are so expensive, and I can't draw all this other stuff. I have to put in for a point.
Yeah, you got to be dedicated in order to hunt 3 seasons.
I was laughing at him. I was like, welcome to my world, buddy.
I'm not ready for that, but I mean, I was lucky enough to tag out. I put in the grind, that's for sure. I mean, 2 months before season open, we're setting trail cameras. I mean, it's an hour drive, and I mean, I drive an old farm truck that gets probably 6 miles. It's like 6 to 8 miles per gallon, right? So taking that thing all the way up the canyon, I mean, it's a half tank there and back. I was working full time.
How much is that? Trying to get to set up camp and all that.
Yeah.
So his camp was way back in there, and it was a good setup camp. But we had to take horses to carry all the gear to get back there, and then had to bring the horses back and take them back. But then gas prices. Everything.
I mean, it's ridiculous, but I mean, it was just a grind. Like, I was working full time for a place down in Payson, Rocky Mountain ATV, and I was working 8 hours a day, right? And I was grinding that out. I mean, I was making about $14 an hour, which is way good for like 16 years old, right?
Yeah.
And so it'd be hard. I'd take a day off every week just so I could go hit the hills. I mean, and it wouldn't be, oh, I'm going to take a day off and relax. I'm going to take a day off and hike my butt off, right, heading up the mountain. I mean, half a tank, gas was $50. I mean, it usually cost me about $35 every time I wanted to go there and back. I mean, which is fine. It was all worth it in the end. But, man, we'd get in there. It's like 6.5 miles into, like, my first cam from that point. We started getting some good bucks on trail camera. The year before that was a little bit better. I mean, last year, the rut really didn't happen for elk because I also had an over-the-counter elk tag in my pocket. I had plenty of opportunities at cows and spikes, but I didn't want to pack anything out unless it had like a rack. That seems selfish, but I was like, I mean, I have enough meat. I was like,
and also we had put in so much time for that. It just wasn't worth to shoot something for the meat just because we have.
Yeah,
and also because we have family members that hunt and we have so much meat in the freezer. If we're putting
you're not exactly in a meat crisis,
right?
Yeah, no. If we're putting months and time into hunting and all that, trying to. Sometimes it's worth it to take take a rack. But
it was
just when you
definitely
have enough
nice
meat.
sometimes for sure. I had my friend Dave Kruger. He used to play, I think it was NFL, and then I had a guy named Taylor Lyons that I hung with up there. Anyways, it's just a grind spot. I was lucky to have them to pack out my deer for sure. My other friend Hunter McGuire, me and him started a small page. Now I'm helping Jackson run it with him. But I mean, without them, it would not have happened. Like you got buddies, like connections is everything, I guess. Like
It really is just who you know.
Yeah, if it was me,
Who
just
you
up
know
the
and
mountain
how
by
you
myself, I
and how
couldn't
you attack it.
Yeah, I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like,
So, where are you guys based again? Are you here in Utah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're based here in Utah.
Okay.
Yeah, Central Utah.
So, you obviously may not know about every youth hunt in every state, whatever.
Yeah.
What, say, maybe even just speaking about Utah, what are some good opportunities for someone that's just getting started, that wants to start hunting? What's some opportunities that they should start looking at?
So, first off, I would highly recommend getting your hunter safety. Get it.
Obviously, yeah.
You can get it at any age, but I would highly recommend getting that done because as soon as you get that done, that opens up more opportunities for you to hunt. Without your hunter safety in Utah, you can still hunt coyotes. You can hunt rabbits.
Yep.
Those are so fun to hunt. Coyotes, there's so many. In Utah, we have a $50 bounty on coyotes. So you bring in the left ear and the lower jaw.
It changes all the time too. Like it'll go up to 75, down to 50.
It just
coming
depends.
to
It just
Utah more
depends on
often.
how many.
Yeah, man, come out.
How many they find. So you take in the left ear and the lower jaw. You take it into City Hall, and they'll pay you $50 for it.
Yep.
And
Shoot.
so you could,
It's-
if you find a good area where there's a ton of them, you kill like 6, 7 of them a day. You're making more than you would a week
Oh, yeah.
or in a month. So
That's
it
playing
really,
for my gas out here.
yeah, for sure. Other than that, once you get hunter safety, our turkey season. So we have a spring season and then a fall season. Fall season, it switches around, and the fall season, it's not really much announced just because they kind of try to keep it low number-wise of tags going out. But in the fall season, somebody told me this earlier, you can take up to 3 turkeys, and I wish I would have known that this fall because I had the turkeys just patterned so well this fall, and I was like, oh, I can't wait for the spring. Oh, that's a huge tom. I can't wait to kill them in the spring. But now that I know, I'm for sure going to try to get an over-the-counter turkey tag next year for the
There you
fall. But turkeys definitely that. They're everywhere all over the state of Utah. Upland game, you could, if you get like your upland game permit and all that, you can just go walk the fields in the areas that they're at, and you spook them up. It's exercise for you, and you potentially get to shoot something.
Yeah,
and you get meat.
Yeah, I'm down in the farm fields down in Spanish Fork. I don't know if anyone knows where that is, but down in Benjamin, Utah, and we just have a small little farm out there. You just kind of on our own terms. It's super awesome. I love it down there. But I mean, you can get started. I know my little brothers will go outside with a pellet gun and shoot Tweety birds out of the tree, for heck's sakes. Like they just sit
May
there.
not be legal, but
Yeah.
it happens
I
as
mean,
a kid.
I grew up doing that in the suburbs. My mom would be in the kitchen, I'd be out in the backyard, and anytime I knew she wasn't looking, like, 'cause, I'm supposed to be shooting a cardboard box or whatever. Anytime
also, like,
she wasn't looking, I'd be
squirrels.
shooting
Yeah.
them off the.
Squirrels. There's a lot of squirrels here
Yeah.
in Utah. There's a lot of pot guts. You got a pellet gun just to start out. You start a kid on a pellet gun when they're like 3.
Freaking Red Ryder BB gun. I got that when I got baptized. I'm part of the LDS church, and for when I got baptized, I mean, my dad bought me my first gun, which was a BB gun, Red Ryder. We went down to Big 5, picked it up. I was in heaven. And that's what my dad's dad, my grandpa, did for him when he turned 8. So we kept that family tradition. I hope to do that with my kids. But I mean, down in the farm fields for sure. Like there's upland game hunting, pheasants, stuff like that. There's dove hunting, all right, that starts September 1st. Like all this stuff that you can do. I do a lot of waterfowl actually. I love doing that during like the off season. Like that is my thing. I'll go sit in a field for 8 hours in the freezing cold, right? Snowing, like raining in a layout blind, decoys. Sometimes it's by myself, sometimes with buddies. But I mean, and even if you're not like old enough to shoulder a 12 gauge shotgun, I mean, like I said,
20 gauge, 16 gauge as well. My dad actually just barely bought a double barrel 16 gauge just because we were going out pheasant hunting, and my dad has a weak shoulder from previous sports injuries and all that, and his shoulder was just killing him, and we had a hunt planned, and he's like, there's no way I could.
I'm not shouldering a 20 gauge.
He's like, I'm not gonna shoulder a 12, and then we went out and shot, and he's like, oh, the 20's just killing me. He would only shoot like maybe 5 rounds before he just couldn't shoot again, and so we got a 16 gauge, and that thing is perfect, and it's a great gun for a young kid to start out with. It's small, it gets the job done. I don't know if it'll get the job done on goose. I know a 20 gauge will because I've done it, but other than that, yeah,
I mean, it's just about getting out, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, take a kid hunting. Like, I have little cousins.
get them outdoors.
Yeah,
get them off the couch and get them outdoors.
What would you recommend for someone that say that doesn't have family that hunts, doesn't have a lot of friends that hunt, but they're like, maybe they came down to the expo with some friends or something. They're like, I don't know. They just don't have a lot of access to someone necessarily that hunts, but they want to get into it. What would you recommend for someone like that?
What I recommend is I'd watch a lot of YouTube videos. Kind of take what techniques that some of the big names are doing and all that. Take their techniques and try to write them down. Take notes, write them down, and go out and just try to apply that. If you can get to an area that you can hunt in, I just go explore. Just go try to be in nature. Just observe it. Learn to hear. Learn to track the different tracks. Learn to tell if that's a little doe, and learn to tell a doe and a buck track. It really, as soon as you can tell those two apart and you can tell different types of scat, it really hunting comes pretty easy. It's all just putting in the work and putting in the time. It takes time for sure.
YouTube is a big, it's huge. I swear, I don't even have a Netflix account, Hulu account. I don't watch cable anymore. YouTube is everything nowadays.
It really is.
And my little brothers are on YouTube just watching little vloggers and all them, and I swear I get more excited off of watching say a Justin Finch high country archery mule deer hunt than I do than anything else. It gives me butterflies. Off season, I'll sit and watch those for hours because it just gives me that feeling again of high country in the summer.
And like I was saying earlier, for YouTube, for YoungHuntr, that I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till the off season, because that's when I want to release. Because as soon as the season's over, I want to release it, so then people who've gone out, they can take the techniques that they did and whatever they did, they can take that and they can learn to do better, or they can say, this is what worked. I'm going to try that next year. This is what didn't work. I need to fix this. I want to be able to help them out any way possible, so I'll be doing tips, everything in the near future. So
yeah, if you
really
want to get into hunting, man, just ask a friend.
Find somebody.
Yeah, you just got to find someone. There's a lot of people that hunt out there. There's other people that know people that hunt. You got to be willing to be vocal. If you're just kind of hiding, almost being scared to ask people that, man, you just got to go ask. Me and Jackson have been just grinding all weekend trying to get connections here at the expo. Man, it's sometimes it's you get kind of scared walking up, talk to some of these big guys, trying to get sponsorships or just things like that. But dude, you just gotta put yourself out there. That's how you get noticed, man. You go walk around Muley Freak guys hey, let's do a podcast, right? And when you're a youth, I don't know if everyone takes you as seriously if you're as an adult, but by the time, if you starting this young, by the time we're old enough as these guys run these huge companies, man, we're going to be on top of what they were when they were running these companies, right? Because we're starting way younger than they did. It's all about the grind. I know we've said that word a lot, but it really is. It's really a grind.
Well, man, it seems like you guys are out here working pretty hard.
For sure.
The
expo
I'd be hard pressed to say there's a younger booth out here.
Yeah.
So that alone says something. People wanted to find you guys on the internet. Where are they looking?
So on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, search up Young Hunters without an E and Hunter, no space, just Young Hunters. You can search that up on there. That's YoungHuntr's account. My personal is Lone Peak 20. And then
my personal's hunter.dahl on Instagram. I also we run a little small one called Double Hunters as well that we're kind of working with Jackson with, try to get that off the ground.
So we're going to try to merge that in. They're going to help out Young Hunters.
We're trying to start another one. I don't really want to release the name yet because I just bought all the domains for it, and so I'm So I'm just kind of waiting, kind of see how it goes. It's really close to a lot of other names, so we're going to have to do a lot of playing around with the logos and things like that. But I think it's the one that I'm going to want to take off with as far as my photography and filming and hunts and just everything like that. I think it's one that I'll want to take off with. But we're just running that. The Jackson's website right now, as far as the Young Hunters, it's up there, but it's not great yet. That's what we're going to work on this summer. We're going to
this summer we're definitely going to make it a lot better. We're going to make it a very interactive site where the youth can come and ask us questions, ask us what they
direct
ask us
email,
for help,
direct text,
everything.
Like that.
We will for sure help them out. That's what I want to do. I've been fortunate to grow up with what I need and all that to hunt and everything, but I want to help out others. I know that I was raised being very fortunate, but I want to help the people who aren't. I want to be able to help people who want to get into it, who don't have the money for it. We do giveaways all the time. We give away gear. Right now at the expo, we're giving away a full Youth Kings camo outfit. We partner with Kings. We're like, hey, we know the youth markets. We know that you guys don't have much youth stuff, but Kings Camo is the only camo company currently that has youth stuff that goes down to kids who are like 3 years old. It'll fit them.
Yep.
So I mean, we're like, we gotta do something. So right now we're just giving away any kid, whoever wins, they'll get the size that they need and all that. Hopefully later in the fall we'll be able to see them in their gear hunting and hopefully see them harvesting.
Yep,
so.
and we partnered up a couple years ago, and actually we did give away a bow. So the bow I hunted with the year before, we did that one, and that was a good giveaway for sure. That evidently gave a lot of publicity to young hunters for sure. But yeah, I mean, there's giveaways in the future. I think after this season, my bow is going to be also, we're going to do another giveaway with my bow because I'll be getting a new one here this next season. Jackson last year with Young Hunters, they did apparel. This year we weren't sure just money-wise on doing that.
Because apparel's very expensive, and it's hard to, last year we did shirts and sweatshirts, and it's hard to do shirts and sweatshirts because trying to get the sizes that fit everybody, and I thought that I'd have enough that would fit me, but I've outgrown my own stuff, and I don't like that. I loved being able to wear my own stuff. I was like, oh yeah, I'm
it's hard to know the audience
name,
too, because the parents are buying
next year,
it, right?
Sure, next year we'll be back. We've been here the last 3 years, and I don't think we'll stop. We're going to keep growing, and next year we'll get a bigger booth, but next year for sure we're going to be doing hats. So
and we're in the making for a couple other things with Mountain Ops. We have something in the booth.
Partnering up at everything. We're just
there's something next
trying to
year,
help everyone,
hopefully.
trying to reach the youth target, which most companies don't. So that's what we're approaching.
That's exciting, guys. I'm really, really stoked to see kind of what comes of this and watching you guys progress. I'm about to give you a follow right here in a second on Instagram, but it was really good meeting the two of y'all. Thanks for taking the time and hopping on.
For sure.
Of course, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all, that'll do it for episode 113 of Living Country in the City. Big thank you to Jackson and Hunter for sitting down with me. It was great getting to know them. Make sure y'all head on over to the show notes page at livingcountryinthecity.com/113 to check out links to everything we talked about in today's episode. Also, y'all make sure you head on over to Sawyer.com/gearsafe. Check out the line of insect repellents that Sawyer offers to keep you and your family safe in the outdoors this hunting season. Also, y'all keep an eye out for the Wild Initiative rebrand coming in the next couple of weeks, and don't be surprised when you start hearing some new voices and contributors popping up in the episode lineup week after week. Finally, head on over to the website at livingcountryinthecity.com/website-design. Fill out the quote request form, check out some of the work I've done before, and let's see if we can't upgrade your website. But until next time, keep it country, y'all.
Thank y'all for listening to Living Country in the City. Get show notes and check out the blog, product reviews, events, and more at livingcountryinthecity.com.